We are from Group 1. We will present about human needs and environmental problems. We will explain what humans' needs are, the factors that influence them, and also the environmental problems that have a local, regional, national, and global levels. But first, let me introduce our member and as a moderator. My name is Faiz Abid.
My name is Kania Mutiara. My name is Diah Yusuf.
And next, in first material, we will explain by our member Kania.
The first basic human needs, element needs by humans to maintain physiological balance, which of course aims to sustain life. So intinya kebutuhan dasar ini adalah suatu penting untuk keberlangsungan hidup manusia. Okay, next. Characteristic of human needs. First, human needs are heterogeneous use. Number 2, essentially, every person has the same needs, but cultural context is different. Needs are fulfilled based on priority. In humans building and aspiring to receive them. For example, different food preference, choosing between buying food first or entertainment. Okay, next. 3 categories of basic human needs according to Sumarmoto. The first, biological survival needs. Contohnya itu seseorang minum air untuk tetap terhidrasi. Okay, number 2, basic needs for human survival. For example, having a home to live in. Number 3, social needs. For example, making friends and working in groups. Okay, next. Biological life needs. Basic human needs for biological survival are closely related to the continuation of biological process in the body and for survival. Termasuk air, udara, dan makanan. Contohnya itu minum 8 gelas air per hari, menghirup oksigen bersih di lingkungan yang sehat. Yang terakhir itu contohnya makanan sehat dan nasi untuk energi. Okay?
And that's our explanation by our member Kania. Next is gonna be explained by my member Diah Amalia.
Baik, di sini saya akan menjelaskan contoh dari kebutuhan hidup manusia. Yang number one, home. Example, a family live in small house for protection. Number 2, value system and social interaction. Example, people follow community rules and join religions. Number 3, education. Example, children go to school to reading and writing. Number 4, employment. Example, a farmer works in the rice field to earn income. Oke, jadi ada dua contoh. Yang pertama, students studies together in group, dan yang kedua itu ada neighbors help each other in community work. Jadi yang ketiga itu ada faktor yang mempengaruhi kebutuhan manusia. Jadi faktor yang mempengaruhi kebutuhan manusia itu yang pertama nature. Jadi faktor yang mempengaruhi manusia itu yang pertama nature, yang kedua religions, yang ketiga customs and tradition, yang keempat ada civilizations. Oke, jadi contohnya nomor satu, people in cold areas needs shelter. Yang kedua itu Muslims eat halal food. Yang ketiga customs traditional, Indonesia wear batik, Japanese wear kimono. Yang keempat itu city people need internet. Oke, jadi yang pembahasan keempat selanjutnya background of environmental problems. Yang pertama ada environmental problems can be categorized as local, national, regional, and global environmental problems. The categories is based on the impact of environmental problems.
Oke, yang kedua, previously people told the global environmental problems were mostly influenced by natural factors such as climate, which include temperature, precipitation, humidity, air pressure, dan lain-lain. Later, people began to realize that human activity also significantly affect the climate and environment.
Okay, next, as you can see, this my material is about global environmental issues. Human activities fulfill needs often cause environmental problems, and these problems can be grouped into 4 levels. The first one is global, it's the highest, and national, the middle to highest, regional, the middle to lowest, and the lowest is local. First, as you can see, global warming. Global warming is basically the phenomenon of increasing global temperatures from year to year due to greenhouse effect. Climate change and global warming. First, causing greenhouse gas and air pollution. Next, second is rain acid. The industrial revolution has resulted in air pollution. This air pollution can react with rainwater and degrade into acidic compounds such as sulfur oxide and nitro oxide. Air pollution and ozone damage can be factors from car burning fuel damage in ozone layers. The ozone layer is important to protect us from harmful sun radiation. And third is biodiversity. The destruction of aquatic and terrestrial ecosystem, land use, change, capture of integrated animals. Deforestation, illegal hunting, reduces the number of animals and plants. Some species even become degraded or extinct. Next, the topic is national environmental issues. We have 5 topics here. First one is tropical forest destruction. Second is coral reef damage. Third is mangrove forest destruction. 4, pollution of the aquatic environment. And 5th, air environmental pollution. These problems threaten biodiversity, fisheries, tourism, and also human health. So this is about regional environmental pollution. For the example is first, deforestation. What is deforestation? Deforestation is forest areas are reduced because land is changed into farm, mining, or housing. This causes floods and loss of habitat and climate change. Second is industrial waste pollution. This one is about waste from factories often pollutes the rivers and the air. This can harm people's health, reduce environment quality, and lower productivity. And the last one is local environmental issues. There are 5 topics in here. The first one is flooding and tidal flooding. Second is landslides. Third one is drought, forest coastal abrasion, and the last one is seawater intrusion. Even though they are local, these problems disturb people's daily lives. Next. So we have to end of our presentation, but let my reminder about the key point and conclusion. From the explanation, we can understand. First one, human needs are always increasing because of environmental, culture, religion, and technology. Second is, but when humans try to fulfill needs without care, it creates environmental problems. Third is, problems start small, at the local level, that spread to regional, national, and finally, the global. And the last one, we must learn to balance human needs with environmental protection. If we use natural resources wisely, we can live comfortably while keeping the environment safe for the future. That's all presentation about human needs and environmental problems. Thank you for listening. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
See you guys.
Hi, Alex here. Which human needs do we have to satisfy to live a sustainable life? Interestingly enough, most definitions of sustainability mention meeting needs. The Brundtland Commission of the United Nations in 1987 defined sustainable development as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In a previous video, we used natural science to see that sustainability can be defined as meeting human needs within ecological constraints. And one of our 4 sustainability principles says in a sustainable society, people are not subject to conditions that systematically undermine their capacity to meet their needs. So what are these needs? How can they help us become sustainable? You may be familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I won't get into it here, but there are many resources available online if you are interested. And here is another interesting theory about human needs that was developed by Chilean economist Manfred Max Neff. He published in 1991 a book called Human Scale Development, demonstrating that human needs are finite and classifiable. There are 9 fundamental human needs that are constant through all human cultures and across historical time periods. What changes is the ways these needs are satisfied. So these 9 human needs are subsistence, we need food, water, shelter; protection, we need a safe place to live, social security; participation, being part of decisions that affect our life; idleness, some free time, relaxing; affection, we need friends, love; understanding, learning, meditating; creation, cooking, designing, inventing; identity, a sense of belonging, knowing oneself; and freedom, being able to choose how we live our lives. Although these needs are the same than the Romans or the native people used to have thousands of years ago, some of the ways we satisfy, say, our need for protection, participation, or freedom can be very different today than they were then. While some satisfiers satisfy only one need, for example, insurance provides us with protection, some satisfy several needs at once. For instance, breastfeeding satisfies a baby's need for subsistence, but also protection, affection, and identity. These are called synergistic satisfiers. Max Neff also differentiates other types of satisfiers called destroyers. By supposedly satisfying a need, they stop us from meeting several others. For example, censorship pretends to satisfy our need for protection, but it actually stops us from meeting our needs for understanding, participation, creation, identity, and freedom. Some are pseudo-satisfiers. For example, fashion and trends can generate a false sense of identity. And finally, Max Neff also organized satisfiers in 4 categories: being, having, doing, and interacting, depending on how we satisfy our needs. So how is this helpful to become sustainable? First, when working towards reducing and eventually eliminating our contribution to conditions that systematically undermine people's ability to meet their needs, we now have a framework to organize our thinking. We can scrutinize our activities, products, and services through the lens of these 9 human needs and associated satisfiers, pseudo-satisfiers, and destroyers. Secondly, when looking for ways to improve or replace an unsustainable practice, we can step back and take a different perspective. Why is this product here in the first place? Which needs does it satisfy? Can we satisfy these needs as well, or even better, with a different product or service? For example, a music festival gathers tens of thousands of people who join to meet their needs for participation, idleness, creation, and identity. Can we invent a totally different way to meet the same needs with fewer carbon emissions due to transportation and less impact on the local ecosystems? Just asking the question opens a whole new way of thinking. Can we invent new ways to satisfy our needs for identity and freedom that do not require buying and consuming so much stuff? Can we imagine other ways to satisfy our need for idleness that do not require flying halfway around the world and intruding on other people's culture and land? When we do find a sustainable satisfier, can we improve it to make it a synergistic satisfier and meet several needs at once with the same amount of resources? At the end of the day, being sustainable is about meeting our needs within ecological constraints, and Manfred Max Neff's human needs can be very useful to find ways to satisfy needs using fewer resources. They provide a new lens and help us take another look at the system we're trying to change, which is crucial to stimulate innovation and to avoid superficial problem solving.
Audio Jungle.